Hey guys, welcome to another mod overview for Total War Attila. Today I'm showing you a mod that reskins the Viking Forefathers factions and also adds a couple of new units to them. Please note that you need the Viking Forefathers culture pack obviously to be able to use this modification. Before we jump into it, I would like to explain why we need a mod for the Viking faction. I was immediately skeptical when it came out, looking at the poor amount of content in it. You can easily see this by comparing the three culture packs that came out already. The Viking Forefathers obviously, the Longbeard and the Celts culture pack. Let's take a look at the number of new units of the DLCs added in first. The Viking Forefathers culture pack added 11 new units. The Longbeards DLC however added 29 new units. The Celts went insane by adding 45 new units, and that's 4 times as many as the Viking Forefathers culture pack. The latest DLCs also added a couple of new buildings. The Celts culture pack added 7 new ones for example. 4 of those were quite unique as you needed some sort of gameplay achievement in order to build them, like a certain number of provinces. The Longbeards DLC added 12 new buildings as well, but the Norse? No new buildings for them, no new buildings in the Viking Forefathers culture pack. The Longbeards and the Celts also give you various other things like new traits, a new Celtic general skill tree, a unique tech tree and more. The Vikings got nothing extra, only units and a new faction trait. This is why I feel like the Vikings need something more to flesh them out. The main problem for me personally is the lack of unique units, only 11 new ones and most of them are really similar to the Saxon units. They almost look like a complete Saxon copy paste with just some extra touches in some places. The mod that fixes this issue for me is the Viking Forefathers DLC reskin plus new units mod made by Xtrufre. As the title says, the mod will reskin every single unit in the roster of the Jutes, the Danes and the Geats. They have more hair and more beards, new pelts and new cloaks, and over 400 new shield patterns have been added to the game. You will encounter situations where no soldier in a unit has the same shield, which is just amazing. The thing I love about this reskin is the fact that great detail went into it. The modder also managed to change the unit cards, for example, to represent the look of the units on a campaign map. The mod also reskins the faction colors and adds new faction emblems to the Geats, the Jutes and the Danes. This is a great reskin in my opinion, the units look amazing and I love the new feel of the Norse soldiers. However, one another thing about the Viking Forefathers in the base game is their lacking unit roster. This mod will fix this as well by adding 9 new units to the game. All the Viking Forefathers will have access to Nordic Hunters, a new range unit which makes use of spears in melee combat, making them able to hold their own in such a fight. All the factions will also get the Nordic Valkyries, a very fast mid-tier skirmisher cavalry unit to add extra flavor in the cavalry section of the rosters, because the Vikings only have access to one melee cav unit in the base game. The Danes will receive a couple of new unique units for themselves. One of those are the Marauders, which are fighting on a very strong melee ship. The Danes also have access to Skirmishers, which is actually an axe-throwing range unit. It has amazing damage but a slow rate of fire, a really cool unique unit. The Danes also have access to a new naval unit filled with these Skirmishers to give them even more flavor in their naval department. The Geats got 2 new units as well. Goatee Horse Raiders is a mid-tier spear cavalry unit which makes the Geats somewhat able to bring decent cavalry to the field. Odin Spears are another unique new unit. This is a very aggressive late game spear unit with excellent stats. The Jutes got 2 new units as well. The Nordic Reavers are basically a stronger version of the Viking Raiders, and they also have Warriors, a warhound unit with handlers who are able to hold their own in a melee engagement, because of their axes of course. The great thing about these new units is the fact that they are perfectly balanced to the base game and also they are in line with the faction strengths. The Viking Forefathers will still have lacking cavalry, the Danes will still be focused on naval warfare and so on. Stats of the new units feel balanced and they perfectly blend into the game. I also like the fact that it only adds 9 new units. Unit modifications tend to simply give a faction too much, which makes it just unfair. The unit rosters aren't too big and are perfectly in line with the base game. As said, in my opinion a great mod and I recommend all of you to give it a try. The link to the mod is in the description, there will be a link to a tutorial on how to install mods for Attila in there as well. I hope you enjoyed the video and I will hopefully see you all next time. Bye bye.